Hey guys, welcome back to Solace 40 Farm. My name is Kelly. Today I'm going to teach you how to make homemade cream of mushroom soup. It can really be cream of anything soup, but this is a recipe that is super simple to make that is going to make it so that you never have to buy the condensed stuff in the store again. You only need a few simple ingredients to have on hand and you can whip it up in just a few minutes anytime that you need it. All right, so let's get to the recipe. So the first thing you need is mushrooms, obviously. This is just 8 ounces of plain white button mushrooms. You can use any type of mushroom you like, but this is what I had on hand. And I just sliced them. You can dice them if you want it to be more like the condensed stuff, but I like being able to actually identify my ingredients in whatever I'm cooking. So I have 2 pans here. We're gonna do it in 2 pans today, but you could totally do it in one, but I'm gonna show them in separate pans because I actually like the texture of it better when I cook them separately and then combine them. When you want to cook mushrooms, to brown them, to saute them, I always combine a little butter and a little oil because the oil raises the cooking temperature of the butter so that the butter doesn't burn. I'll leave that out because we're going to need that later. And then when that gets nice and hot, we'll throw the mushrooms in. In this skillet, got it over medium heat. All you need is butter, flour, and milk, and then we'll add a few seasonings. So what we're doing here is basically we're making what's called a bechamel, which always starts with a roux. So I have equal parts butter and flour, about 2 tablespoons of each. You don't want that over too high of heat because you don't want it to burn. So you just sprinkle your flour in over your butter. And then we're gonna whisk our butter and flour together and we're gonna let it cook for just a couple of minutes to cook off that raw flour taste. When you're cooking mushrooms, you don't wanna salt them right away because that will pull the water out and keep them from browning. So what they're gonna do is, when you do it right, those are gonna give off their water and then they're gonna suck it all back up and that's when they'll actually start to brown. Whoops, flinging stuff everywhere. Okay, so this is how our roux is looking. This has been cooking for just a couple of minutes. And then all we're gonna do is add in a couple cups of milk. This is whole milk. I never recommend skim milk or 2%. All that means is that they've taken the nutrients, the good stuff, out of the milk and added in fake ingredients, fake nutrients that your body does not recognize, and sugar. Just get the good stuff. This is actually raw milk. So you want to whisk it as you pour in to get those lumps out, okay? And then this is going to come up to a simmer and it's going to start to thicken up beautifully. Do you see how these mushrooms have given off their liquid? In just a minute, all that liquid will be gone. And they will start screaming. You know when they squeak in the pan? That's what that is. They'll start screaming and they'll reabsorb all the liquid and then they'll turn nice and brown. So we are just gonna season this up with some salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and then my secret ingredient, which you can skip, but it just gives it that thing. It's delicious. I'll show you in a second. So my secret ingredient is nutmeg, freshly grated nutmeg. It just gives it a little like something extra. You can use the powdered stuff, but the fresh stuff is always better. So while I'm just whisking away, waiting for this to come up to a simmer, let's talk about why you'd even want to make your own cream of mushroom soup when you can really easily and pretty cheaply go to the grocery store and buy the canned stuff. Well, there's a number of reasons. One, in the last couple of years, we've all seen that a lot of the processed stuff like that has not been super available in the grocery store. 2, these are ingredients that you keep on hand pretty much all the time. I always have butter, flour, and milk. All the other stuff is optional, but you know you can always whip something up if you have those 3 things. 3, the quality of ingredients is so much better. This is real food. That stuff is a food-like product that is not actually meant for human consumption. It has its place, I get it. I grew up eating a ton of it in things like green bean casserole and like a cheesy chicken and rice casserole, which is what I'm making this for today. I've got a chicken in my Instant Pot behind me and we're gonna make a yummy casserole. But if you know how to make this, then you can make any casserole, which I'm from the Midwest and so we do a lot of casseroles here, from scratch with all high quality ingredients, which are so much better for your body, so much more nourishing, and they taste so much better. That's the beautiful thing about cooking from scratch. You can control the quality of ingredients, and that is a big reason why we do what we do here. And a major passion of mine is showing people how to cook real food, because it is a skill that has been lost, I think, a lot, especially in my generation. I'm technically a millennial, although I don't really identify as one. But I would love to hear some of the other things that you all use cream of mushroom soup for, or any of the condensed cream of, there's cream of celery, there's cream of chicken. What do you guys use them for? Leave it in the comments here. I'd also love to know if you have ever made this yourself. You can make, if you know how to make this, you can make homemade mac and cheese. You don't need the box mac and cheese. All that you do when this is finished and thickened is add in your favorite shredded cheddar, or you could even get fancy and do Gouda and Gruyere, or you could do mozzarella, cook some pasta, fold in the cooked pasta to your cheesy cream sauce, and you have a homemade, delicious macaroni and cheese that is made from real ingredients, no processed chemicals. Gotta love that. I wanna show you how nice and browned up these have gotten. These are done now, so now you can hit these with some salt and pepper and just turn the heat off, and they'll be ready to toss into our sauce there in just a second. Okay, this is simmering. Do you see how lovely and thick it's getting? It usually takes about anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes to thicken. So how do you know when it's done? When you are stirring it and you take the back of the spoon like this, you can either run your finger down it, but be careful because it's hot, or a spoon down it like that. And if it stays drawn like that, the line, then it's done. The longer you let it cook, the thicker it's gonna get. So I like mine just a little bit thicker, so I'm gonna let it go for just a couple more minutes. Okay, this is good and thick enough for me. So now I'm gonna take the mushrooms and turn this off. Stir my mushrooms in. And there you have it. That is homemade cream of mushroom soup. So much better than any store-bought version of this. This is the real deal. This is like what your grandma was making. She wasn't going to the store and buying the canned stuff, I'm sure. So I am actually just gonna let this cool a little bit, and then I'm gonna store it in a mason jar until I'm ready to use it tomorrow. You can keep it in the fridge like that for about a week, as long as your milk's good. We do raw milk, so that doesn't keep quite as long, so I don't make a ton in advance, but you can, if you know you're gonna be using it for 2 recipes during the week, then you can make it once, use it twice, save yourself the time. If you like this recipe and you want to see more real food from scratch recipes, we would love if you would like and subscribe. We have so many fun things coming here on the farm in the next month, and I can't wait to share all of them with you. So until next time, stay well and be blessed.